Hello you lovely people, it's Fallout 4 guy here. I hope you're okay, I hope you're doing well, I hope you're staying safe in these worrying, troublesome times that we're in. Hope you're keeping your sanity in lockdown and so on and so forth. I am not keeping my sanity, I have lost the fucking plot. This fucking build. Man, I've done this about 10 times now, tried to record this video, and it just crashes and crashes, and oh, I'm losing the will to live. Oh, I don't even know if this is going to get this uploaded or not. This is just doing my head in. So I wanted to upload this last week. I tried to record it and it just kept dying on me all the time. So I lost the will to live, I gave up, was like, fuck it, not doing it. That was it. And it's doing the same to me today, so I think this is the last I'm going to try this now. Basically, if I try and interact with anything inside the bar, it crashes straight away, which I didn't need to do in the tour. I just looked around, it was fine. But obviously for behind the scenes, I meant to pick shit up and look around and put it back, and that's how I kind of do stuff. I can't do that inside, so I'm going to have to just kind of point at stuff and just talk about it. I think that's the only way I'm going to be able to get through this video. So unfortunately, I'm not about to strip the layers away like I normally do for you guys to see what's gone into it. But I'll talk and kind of point at things as best as I can. Anyway, I'm just going to get on with it because I'm sick of saying the same thing over and over again. Right, so the building itself, everything is built from scratch. I'm at Nuka Red Rocket. I built here like 3 times before, but I knew there was going to be a lot of detail and a lot of NPCs in this build, and I know this location is very, very generous, lets you get away with a lot, and you can kind of push it to the limit really. So that's why I chose this place. Plus it's got like a dusty kind of dirty feel to it, which is what I wanted for this theme anyway. The building itself I made out of wood, but I wanted it to look like it was an existing building that had been kind of patched up and then added on to. So yeah, so like all the wooden frame I wanted to kind of look like it may have been here pre-war. It's managed to somehow survive, and it's been kind of patched up by the settlers over the years, and then sort of extended, so this kind of part doesn't match this part so much, but that's kind of the point. Anyway, so it's kind of all like kind of falling down a little bit, so everything's slightly off, tilted a little thing, you know, like you would never have noticed this in the tour, but everything kind of is leaning a little bit, or it's broken in somewhere, like there, look. And the walls and the wall, I get asked actually this quite a bit in other builds, where I get my textures or what textures this or that from. I always just use the USO barn wall pieces, but I normally kind of like merge them in with other barn pieces. So I can pick things up out here just fine, but I can't do this inside. So I'll kind of show this as much as possible, but yeah, lots of just different pieces tilted to make the wall textures. You can't have external assets on PS4, so this is kind of like the only way I get to kind of make new looking textures. They're like CVA planks of wood. There's lots and lots of pieces in this build. In fact, I kind of didn't realise how much was in there, but many layers. All these planks are from CVA. The decking steps, I think, are from workshop base items. But I think most of it is just USO, CVA, and maybe post beams and supports. I think from that's Toys Out of Pram's mod. But yeah, it's pretty kind of straightforward. One thing though I will add, I don't snap stuff. I mentioned this before in my other videos. I never ever snap objects together. So sometimes you'll look at something and think, oh well, that must be a new piece because, you know, they don't fit together that way. It's just because I manually place everything. So like for example, these, you know, these snap together, but I don't snap them together because like there's 2 pieces there, look, to make a bigger piece. So that makes a bigger triangle, and there's the middle bit underneath there to kind of fill it out and make a bigger looking triangle. This is the benefit of not snapping stuff together. You can pretty much make, you know, bigger shapes and bigger pieces. Same with the roof. You know, I had a roof, it's kind of like that triangular shape. You wouldn't normally be able to do that if you snap roofs together, so it's actually 2 pieces of roofing, look. lay it on to make it slightly bigger to kind of match the size of the front of it, and then I can kind of merge them in because obviously not snapping. Now that there is like a drawback obviously, because, well, not for me because I'm just used to it, but if you were doing this and you've never done this before, you really have to be precise how you line things up, because if you start to place all these with the QwaPA posts, even if your first one you place is a little tiny bit off, you know, like the rest of it's all going to be really out by the time you get to the end of the row where you've been building. So the patience and precision comes into play when you have to kind of line everything by hand. But you know, for me it's a trade-off that's worth doing, because you get these unique looking structures that nobody is going to instantly like recognize or have in their builds, you know. Because you know, we've been building now for what, three years, is it, this game? 4 years? I can't remember. But you start to get to see the same buildings everywhere. So I like to kind of make my own building. The same as this little bit here. None of this is snapped together. You know, they're all like tilted panels and door frames and things that have just been merged on like bits of wood, look, plywood, planks, whatever that is, debris, and it makes a new texture. And it just looks a bit more, I think it looks more realistic, but you know. Anyway, let's talk about this sign, because nobody asked about the sign, and I first saw someone do this sign. My friend Marty, well, Monster Barbell is his YouTube name. Go and have a look at his channel. He doesn't build anymore, but he's still got some amazing builds that even to this day, and they're like 3 years old, they still stand up to this day, all PS4 stuff. And I first saw him do this sign on his Wasteland Sanctuary City build, and I always wanted to try it, but like I say, this was like 3 years ago, and I saw it and I thought, oh, I'll try that one day, and I never got round to it, or never found the right place to do it. And it's basically just made out of these little punctuation pieces, the space, little white tiny little things that you can see. Very small, but takes ages, but yeah, really effective. In fact, the first version I did was filled in completely, so it was like block letters, but I didn't like it, so I deleted that and went for this kind of spaced version that he's done in his build. The only thing I will say, if you're going to try this, is you have to really kind of plan out how big your letters are going to be and where they're going to start and where they're going to end, because you know, if you just write from how you would write normally, by the time you get to this side, you'll find it's all out of shape, and you have to kind of write like start this end and start that end and fill it in. It's a bit weird, but anyway, it's definitely something that works. I think it was perfect for this bar. I chose the name Tommy's just because of all this signage that I knew I was going to use, the Tommy's combat zone rules and stuff. So yeah, so I just thought Tommy's was fitting. I don't think there's anything. I want to get inside really, because I'll say all this and I'll go inside and it'll crash. I built some bikes, never really showed them. They're a bit shit. They're not really meant to be looked at. They're just kind of. I was gonna, when I did the tour, I was gonna walk up the stairs this way, so I was gonna kind of pass the bikes, but I think I ended up walking up these stairs for the tour, so you never got to see those. But they're just nothing special, just crappy bikes with power armor on. Okay, let's do this. It sometimes crashes here. Yeah, we're okay for now. Okay, so the combat zone. So because of Tommy's, it was obvious that I was going to have the combat zone in here. I wanted to kind of do a little bit more than I did with this, to be honest. But the video was shot at night. Obviously, that's, you know, when you go to the bar normally. So because it was dark, the detail and stuff wasn't going to be shown anywhere, so I didn't really go too much to town with it. It just was enough to get the effect. So it looks terrible in the day, it looks dead. There's nothing to look at, but in the night time it was effective enough, you know. I wanted more NPCs as well, kind of standing around cheering and stuff, but there was already 34 NPCs in this place, and I thought I was pushing my luck with it, to be honest. So I kind of left it at what it was. See, I really want to take that out. Normally I just remove that so you can see, but I can't risk it. It will crash. If I just touch that railing, it will crash. Now, what I didn't get to show you in the tour was things like the ceiling detail and stuff that I put in. This build, man, this is a small build, but honestly it wasn't a quick build. There's a lot of work that's gone into the actual structure itself, and trying to make everything look solid and, you know, kind of layered and detailed as possible. On the roof, so the ceiling is no exception. So I wanted to use these studded walls for a long time. I think they're from Workshop Items, or it might be from Akiras Clutter, I can't remember. It's one of those two mods. And they're walls, like, so I've tilted them on the back to put them into the ceiling. And I just thought it'd be cool to have this like really like open ceiling. So instead of having just the regular vaulted ceiling that you would get if you just use the barn pieces, which you can just see above there, because I've merged all the roof pieces together using QwaPA, they're not snapped in, they're all over the place, they don't look right. So I kind of wanted to make my own ceiling, which I've done now, and that comes with all the problems of having to kind of lay everywhere up and have it look as solid as possible. So to make it not look boring of just having this brown ceiling all the way through, I thought this would look cool. And that's pretty much kind of like why I did that. And all the wires and cabling I thought would be cool, because then you've got like this wire running towards the where all the light rigging is for the stage work, and it just looks interesting. But I never got to show it in the video, so, you know, it was kind of wasted, but at least in the behind the scenes you get to see it. And then following like just the detailing around the room while I'm talking about that, all the pipe work is from CVA. The AC ducting is from one of Toys Out of Pram's mod. I think it's just called AC ducting, I think. I've used that many times. I've used it for sign writing and all sorts of stuff, but it's actually used for the proper reason this time. It serves no purpose than just to look like, you know, detail. That's all, just detail looking stuff. The pipes hanging down and the cabling hanging down is from CVA. It's in the debris section. They're massive pieces. I've just kind of put them up into the ceiling enough. But yeah, glad I got to kind of show that off, because, as I say, in the tour it wasn't really something. You know, I build these things, and when I do the video tour, there's certain areas that just don't need showing. So it's a case of like, well, I could show it for the sake of it, but it doesn't really go with the theme of the build now to show it in the video, so they're going to get left out. Now let's talk about the bar, because this is where I can't help but pick things up. I know, I crashed the game. So the first bar I built was wooden, and it was, well, it was more going into the theme with the building that's outside, really, with like a lot of wood and stuff. And I got near to the end of it, and I thought, oh yeah, this looks good, but it looks a bit familiar. I've seen this before. Where have I seen this bar before? And then I realised it was my Shamrock Tap House bar that is on my channel, that I built a couple of years ago. And I'd built basically built the same fucking bar that I built in there. I was like, what the hell? Because I didn't remember what my Shamrock Tap House looked like, and I just built it. And this looks familiar. And then when I looked through my old videos, I saw that yep, I just pretty much built the same bar, so I had to scrap that and start again. So I decided to go with metal this time, because I knew there was no way I could, you know, kind of veer off and end up reproducing some of my other stuff. So I went with metal, but I much prefer the dirty, rusty look of the metal, to be honest. And these pieces that I chose for this are perfect. So this is one of the sign pieces from CVA. I'd love to pick it up and show you now, but I'm not even going to risk it. It's quite a big piece, and they're normally vertical. I've just tilted it onto its side, and I chose it because of these like gaps that I thought were perfect for shelves that I've kind of put the bottles and things on. And then we've got the posters, the light up posters that I've sunk in there to kind of give it a bit of a bar looking graphics and artwork in there. They look better lit up obviously at night, but yeah, you can kind of see them there. That's another piece of the the sign work. I don't know if that's actually, yeah, I think it is the same. It's the same kind of stuff. I might have just put it on its side. Again, I can't pick it up. The actual bar itself, the counter, is another piece of that CVA sign work, again tilted on its back and twisted over, so I've got the back part of it that would be on the wall as the counter piece. And then the bar detailing is lots and lots of stuff. Notably, the one that it's highlighting now is the I think it's from Good Neighbor. It's the LED arrow there that points right, which is from CVA, but I think it's actually in Good Neighbor, I don't know. But anyway, I've sunk it in enough just to show the LED lines through, but the arrowhead I've kind of merged in with another sign that I've hidden it, which would be behind that guy there. And then railings and the slatted window blinds as well. Some posts. There's lots of pieces in there, basically, just to kind of keep. I just keep layering on top till I get the desired look. But yeah, I mean, you can see now the rusted theme was what I was going for, so I've chose lots of the same colours, everything kind of rusted to go with it. The shelves upside down, I've put the bottles on like as ornaments, empty bottles. These are from, they're not from a mod, so the bottles are just empty bottles that I've used QwaPA to kind of make static, so hand play stuff. And the bar taps, so the bar taps that I had in the Shamrock Tap House build that I mentioned earlier, they originally got made into a mod by Toys Out of Pram. He made it a mod for me, and he wanted to sort of add it to his little bar build. So then I kept seeing everybody using my Fallout 4 guy beer taps in their builds, and I just got sick of seeing them, so I decided to make some new taps this time. So this is probably going to get made into a mod now at some point, I don't know. But for now, it's just a railing piece that I don't actually know what the hell that railing piece is for, but it's in it's in Fallout 4 guy requested parts. It's probably in another mod as well. I think it's possibly in Akiras Clutter as well, I'm not sure, but definitely in my mod. And then I've used the cryo pipes for the little valves and things. And we've got the upside down beer bottles for the actual taps. The levers are from Akiras Clutter in the machine kit section, and then I've just used the coolant caps, which are just normal items. You can make them static as well, and yeah, pretty simple, but I thought it looked quite effective. And I just to say, I got sick of seeing my taps in every build, so decided to do a new thing. But that's about it really on the bar. Again, as I say, it's just layered up lots of stuff. The bit I can't click on now, the textures that are behind that writing there, they're just wallpapers, a bit like what's used on the wall there. And the decals, the decals are from CVA. The wallpapers are from workshop base items, I think. There is one behind that as well, but I put a poster over it. But yeah, they're just again there to make the kind of wall look a bit more interesting. While we're looking at these dickheads, this is the main problem with this build. I know that all the crashes are coming from the settlers being so close together in this little tight room. As I say, there's 34 settlers in this build, and these guys, I can't talk to any of these guys in here. If I talk to them, and as looks, I'll dress them all. Yeah, so all the clothing, I normally put the clothing on myself. If I tried to do that while they're in here, it would just crash straight away. As soon as I open the trade menu, it crashes. I can take them outside individually and change their clothes, fine, I can talk to them, but when I put them inside, it crashes. So all these settlers are just absolute nightmare. I hate them all. I wanted to stab them so many times. But to get them in these positions, you need a mod called Busy Settlers on PS4, which I use. There is a couple of others, but I find the Busy Settlers one to be the most stable and most reliable. And yeah, it's just a case of like getting them into position, and then I use freeze time ability, which is in CVA. Once the time is frozen, then they tend to just stay still. There's very few reasons why they'll move. They'll stay there forever, so they never go on their little day cycle where they finish their work and stuff. They walk around. They don't walk around. So I like to keep my settlers pinned down like this, because especially when there's a lot, if they start walking around, they're just going to cause even more problems. So So yeah, that's how I kind of make them stay in these animations. And then the animations themselves, I spent a lot of time just looking at different animations. I put all the rugs down on the floor, assigned a bunch of set lists to them, just watched them just to see which ones do which. So I've chose animations that are not necessarily, you know, bar animations, but like for her, for example, I think that's the sink. I think it's called sink animation. I think she's meant to be leaning up against the sink and just, you know, touching her face and stuff. It looked to me like she could be leaning up against the bar and ordering a drink. She's got like a few signals like where she's trying to get the barman's attention maybe. They're not invisible, the rugs, by the way. They're grey, like a normal mat, and I've just sunk into the floor ever so slightly, just so that it hides it under the ground. Rest are just drinking, leaning. I think this one is called primping, I think, and it's meant to be looking in the mirror, I think. That's a guard animation, that's a guard animation, that's the woozy one. That might be the primping one as well. And sitting, drinking coffee. So yeah, so they're kind of like, there's nothing new with the animations, basically. It's just I've used the same ones and I'm just trying to kind of repurpose them a little bit. So we haven't crashed yet. I'm actually excited because I might actually get through this for once. As long as I don't touch anything, it won't crash. So the bar is pretty much done, but I wanted to have a stage. So I'll just talk about roughly how I build this first of all. When I build these kind of buildings, I just build a front to the building. I don't actually build the whole building. So I knew I wanted a bar, I knew I wanted a stage. I didn't know where they were going to go and how they were going to kind of fit in. So what I do by kind of not finishing the building, what I accomplish with that is just I can get a good sense of space without having to complete the building and then try and squeeze everything in. If I do it this way, where I build only the front, I know the look of the building, so I get like an idea of the theme I want to kind of go to, and the you know, the style of the place. And then, but I haven't actually finished the building. So if I do want to put more in, I haven't got to then take the building down, because, like I said about I don't snap stuff. It's not a quick thing for me just to rip a few walls down and put some walls back up. Everything's lined up, so it takes a long time to kind of do the building. So it's best if I build it half partially and then add stuff and then, you know, kind of like finish the building once I know where everything's going to fit. So yeah, I put the bar here. There was no back on the wall, there was no walls anywhere, and then I knew roughly where the stage could be. So I ended up making the stage then kind of just the right size that I could fit what I wanted to fit on, and then I put the walls in and the ceiling on after, once I knew the sizing. So so yeah, so that kind of process takes a bit of time. But the stage itself, I had to look at a few pictures, to be honest, because although I've seen live music, you know, for real, I've never really paid attention to what was going on the stage. So all the rigging and stuff, I kind of just looked at a few different pictures of small kind of venues that have basic rigging up, and kind of did my own version, Fallout 4 style. These beam pieces, they're from are they from Akiras, or they're from, I think they're from Toys Out of Pram's post pillars and supports, or whatever it's called, post beams and supports. All my mods are in the description anyway, because I never get the names right, but they're all there. But they're vertical, so I've tilted them on their side to make the pieces. So you've got to have QwaPA to tilt them if you want to get them on this angle. And then the lighting's just traffic lights and the emergency lights from CVA, I think. And then these little thingies, these are from Creation Club. I think they're from the arcade DLC. They got like a little hologram look on the floor. I didn't really want the hologram, but I didn't mind it too much, and I just wanted the look of these lights, to be honest. And then the other lights, these ones are the construction lights. I've just turned them upside down, and I chose those because you can't really see it in here, but you see these little beams of light coming off it. They give off that, and at night it looks quite good. There's like these beams coming through. It's a nice effect. It looks a bit smoky lighting. But yeah, and then the speakers, they're just the radios. I've tip them upside down, tilted them back slightly so they look like they're kind of tilted. Like I saw these pictures with these PA systems on the walls that like had that kind of angle to it, so that's kind of why I did that. There's another two there. Look, I've just layered on top of each other. The back part's all curtains, lots of different curtains. The SD thing on the wall, that I don't know why I put that there. That's actually the super duper. You can just see the star outline. You see on the blue curtains. I can't pick it up because it will crash. But that is the massive super duper market sign. I've just sunk it in the wall enough just to get the SD showing through the brickwork. I don't know why I did that. I just thought it would. Maybe the band's name's like Sudden Death or something. But yeah, I just thought that would be. It just fit there basically. And then the instruments, as you can probably see where I've been hovering over now, they're nothing special. They're just made out of like pots and pans and stuff. I don't know shit about drumming, so there's probably too many toms here. I think it's probably here. I think I've got too many toms, but I don't know. I just thought it looked like passable. The trash can lids for the cymbals, barrel for the bass drum. I've got no hi-hat, but yeah. And then the animation I use from that is just it's just a guard, seated guard thing. I would have loved to have these animations playing instruments. It would have, if I could just got the Fallout 76 instrument playing animations, that would be amazing. But can't do that kind of stuff on PS4, sadly. And then the Freddie Mercury lookalike, yeah, that was kind of intended. When I spawned the settlers in, I was like kind of sifting through the ones that I didn't like the look of, and the ones that looked like anyone with coloured hair and stuff was perfect for the bar. But these are the USO summoned NPCs, so I didn't wait for settlers to arrive. I just summoned them with the beacon thing. You can just press on it and keep the ones you want and get rid of the ones you don't. So yeah, the Freddie Mercury looking guy, I had him playing the keyboard for some reason. It's just an ironing board from Skylines. That's the only mod, the only object I've used Skylines for on this one. PS4 Skylines it's called. I got rid of it ages ago because everything's in German from it, and it just annoyed me seeing that German writing. But yeah, so basically I got rid of that. But then I added it back because I couldn't find the damn ironing board anywhere, and that was the only mod that's got it. And then these core guidance systems, I actually don't even know. I think this is from Akiras, or it's probably, actually I think it's from my, oh yeah, this is from my requested, but it's not, I didn't request it, Worty Purty did, it's in his section I think. Yeah, so it's just a lot of those leaked up. He was never meant to see it from this side. I never actually came around this side of the on the camera, but it has kind of got keys on a little bit, but it just didn't look quite as good, so I kept the camera on this side of it. But yeah, it's quite simple really. All the graffiti on the wall and stuff, it's from Akiras Clutter. I just layered it. I can't pick it up obviously, but yeah, I just layered them up on top of each other. I was quite happy with the stage. It did the job. The railings, I don't know what that's from. Can't remember. I think it's from Workshop Items base game, I think. I've never used them before. Or it could be from Akiras, I don't know. Basically, I've had the same, I use like four or five mods. Yeah, that's pretty much everything I build is like 90% 4 or 5 mods. I hardly ever use any other mods. And you can pretty much build everything you see in my builds with just those 5 mods. But I'll add extra mods in every now and again, like for example, I added the Skylines mod just for that one item. And then sometimes I'll add like, if I want like this guard animation, that's from like a mod called Turrets and something or other, I can't remember what it's called, but I literally added it just for that one thing. So yeah, I mean, what happens with these, because I use the same mods, I kind of forget what things are from. They kind of all merge, and I've been using the same ones for years. So unless it's something new I've added, I'm a bit vague on what it's come from. But I think it's either from, if you just get all my mods anyway that's in the list, you'll probably end up getting all this stuff. But I think it's either workshop base items, I think. Anyway, right. I'm actually going to get through this, which is great. Let's talk about the mirror, because this is my reason of building this whole damn build, is the mirror. Actually, not the whole build, but I wanted to build a mirror, and I wanted to have it behind the bar. That was the idea. So I knew I was going to build a bar. I was like, right, I want to build a bar with a mirror behind it. So where the gaps, where the wall is there, to the back of it, imagine that was a bit bigger, but I was going to have a mirror in. So that means everything in the bar was going to have to be mirror imaged in the mirror. As soon as I started building, I realised that that was a stupid idea and I should never just even thought of it. So I scrapped the idea, but then later on thought, whoa, I could still use the mirror idea and put it in the bathroom. So that was kind of where the idea came from. Now, to do this, how can I do this without picking this up? Okay, I can't remove any objects, but if I can just... Okay, we got there. So, okay, so that is a door frame. So what I did first, so I mapped out the outline of the bathroom and roughly how big I wanted to do it, and then I picked some pieces that I could fit in. So this is the a brick doorway, which is from Workshop Items base game. Tilt it on its side, and then I used the other pieces of the same set to kind of fill in the gaps and to make this shaped mirror. And then I used a window piece, which is from Fallout 4 guy requested parts, and just kind of merge it in. The window's massive. I think it comes out to about there, I think, but hidden under the walls it obviously looks a bit smaller. And yeah, so it's just a piece of glass looking into another room. So then once I got that bit, then I started to then build the room that I'm building here on the opposite side, but in a mirror image. Now, there are some problems with doing this. You can't just flip objects in Fallout 4. I can't on PS4. I don't know if you can in other systems. So if I have an object down, so if, like with these stalls, for example, so like I put a broken door there that I've tilted just slightly and leaned up against it, yeah, because this toilet's out of order. So on that side, you can see the broken door leaning there, but it's not a true mirror image because I can't flip. All I can do is turn that round on itself. So you're only going to see the other side of it. It's not actually a mirror imaged version of that. So I had to pick items and objects that don't look too different. Like, how to explain this better? So the writing, for example, the graffiti, that's from Akiras Clutter. It's just single words. You can't turn that writing round. If you turn it, rotate it so its back is facing you, hence it would be written backwards. It's invisible. There's no texture on it. So I couldn't choose any graffiti that would be seen in the mirror. So if you look, like for example there, I've chose like squiggly lines, which can be mirrored because it doesn't look like it would be written backwards in a mirror, like the XXX, the kisses look, or whatever they are. Again, you know, it's not mirrored. This little star look, it's got it there. But if I had written a bit of writing on the wall, then you'd see it written the right way on the wall that side, which again, that's not a true reflection, it would be in reverse. So I had to be kind of like clever with what I chose that, you know, kind of sold the illusion. Bit of a pain, but yeah, it just took a lot longer to kind of really think about what items I'd used than I thought it was going to. Let me go around the other side now to kind of show you how it looks on the other side, because I only mirrored what needed to be mirrored. I didn't actually build the entire room. So as you see now, it's kind of bare bones on this side. I didn't put things in that wasn't ever going to be seen, so there's no toilets in, for example. Obviously no texture on this side because you'd never see it. Here you go, you get to see that it is a window, look, and that's the door frame that I've used. I put these wooden posts in around it just to give the mirror frame so it looks a bit thicker. And then the NPC, oh man, this took ages. So I mentioned before I spawn NPCs in with the USO spawner thing. So I had to just keep spawning one over and over and over again until I found one that was identical to one I'd got. So I just kept keeping a few and then like looking at them and then just kicking the ones out that they didn't match. And then I got just the same amount of clothes in and just put him in the same clothes. And then the animation was a pain just because you can't sync animations up. Yeah, so I didn't know this until I tried to do this But if you choose two rugs that have the same animation, stand them next to each other, they start like on random timers. I mean, you might be able to get two animations to go exactly the same time, but it would be pure luck if you did. So I had to pick an animation that was relatively still, that doesn't look weird. This one looks weird, but like it doesn't look that weird. Just to kind of like sell the look of like it not being, because if we see, I could have had like I could have had the sink animation. The sink one would have been good because you leaned up against the sink looking in the mirror, but because there's too much animation to it, then they're out of sync. And this one just barely works. Their heads turn kind of at the same time. It's great, but it doesn't look as ideal as I wanted it to. There's another one I did have. I had the guard animation where I had a guard standing at the urinal, and he just stands with his hands in front of him. Looks like he's taking a piss, but it's perfect. And I did the same one there, so his back was to the camera, so again it looked mirrored, perfect. But I wanted, it didn't sell the mirror look to me, as in like I wanted the mirror to be the focal point. So when you come in, this guy, he's looking in the mirror, yeah, so you kind of straight away notice the mirror. Now you might think, oh well, you'll notice it anyway, but a lot of people didn't notice it, and I had to kind of point out. I kept saying to people, oh, do you like the mirror? Do you like the mirror, in the comments? And then the people that I asked were like, oh, mirror, you made that, you know, like people didn't really straight away think, oh, it's not a mod, it's something that's, you know, so he's built it. So I knew that kind of might be a thing, so I kind of wanted to emphasize as much as possible that someone was looking in the mirror, and yeah, so I went with that animation basically. It's not ideal, but I'm not 100% happy with it, but I'm happy with the effect it creates, the reflection. I think the more you look around it, other than the fact that I'm a vampire now, I've got no reflection. Yeah, I think it works. And that was the reason why I built this build, really. But can you imagine trying to then sync these settlers up if I had put the mirror behind the bar? It just wouldn't have worked. Would never have worked. So at least I got to use the idea. Anyway, I think I'm done because I hate this build. I hate it now. I've had to do this video so many times, but I think I finally got through it. Is there anything else I need to talk about? The lighting, okay, the lighting. Now I'm showing this in the daytime obviously, but hopefully you've seen the proper tour before you've watched this. Hopefully you've seen it at night where it's supposed to be viewed, and you'll see that it's very dark, but there's certain areas that are lit up. I spent a lot of time trying to get the lighting to look right. Now on PS4 there's not many lighting options. I know that Xbox and PC have lots of lighting mods, but PS4 doesn't. So you're kind of limited to what you can do with the lights, and I went with these coloured lights, which I never ever use. I hate them. I hate coloured lights and stuff. And I went with these. I don't know if I can show you these because they're invisible. These are from Toys Out the Pram's light mod. I can't remember what it's called, light beams or some stupid. He always got stupid names for his mods. He needs quick, easy, catchy names I can remember. Again, in the description, the actual mod, but they're basically little light bulbs. It's such a good mod. You can place these lights and things like these. For example, these are from CVA. These string lights, which I can't click. There we go. These are from CVA, but they don't emit any light. So then I use Toys Out of Pram's lighting mod, and I use QwaPA to place the light bulb because they're invisible, and then you can kind of like get a lighting effect. And I've used those throughout the actual build, all inside. Everywhere you see there's an actual light, like these for example, there's a bulb inside it. So you've got that one, look, and then that bulb inside it giving off the actual light. So it takes a long time to kind of build up all the lighting and trying to get everywhere, but it's better than having just a light bulb in, because the actual light bulbs that you wire up, they just throw light everywhere and they're horrible. They give you a real horrible lighting. Whereas these are much dimmer and more controlled, and they can do spotlight effects and things. So although I can't really show you properly in the dark now because I can't bother to change the time of day, the lighting that you see in the tour, you know, is done by hand. It's all placed strategically, and it did take a lot of time, but it's worth it. I don't really hate the build. I'm looking around it now. It's a good build. I just hate the fact that it caused me so much trouble. But yeah, looking at it now, I suppose I suppose there's a lot of work that did go into it. Anyway, thank fuck it's finished. I can't believe I've got this video done. It's a miracle. So that's Tommy's bar. Now, I will say thank you for watching. I will say I'll be back soon, but I do not know when I will be back because Fallout 76 has got a new update coming in like 2 days. Wastelanders, it looks good. I can't stand Fallout 76, but I'm one of these people that keeps wanting to give it lots and lots of, you know, free passes really. So I'll keep trying it. I keep going back to it. I've not played it for like over a year now, but I keep going back to it hoping it's going to improve. It never really does. It always lets me down. But this new DLC, it adds NPCs, looks pretty class, I've got to say. So I will be checking that out in a couple of days when it comes out. So I might not be building just yet. I don't know. If it's shit, then I will be building. But if it's good, I'll probably be playing that for a little while. But I will be back at some point, is all I can say. Because I can never stay away from Fallout 4 building, no matter how good new games are. I will say that I think my next build is probably going to be something big, because this build was quite small, and my one before that, which was the Nordhagen RV, was obviously a small build. So yeah, I think maybe it'll be a bigger build, maybe a town or a city, I'm not sure, but I just don't know when that'll be. So anyway, but thank you for watching, thank you for sticking around, thank you for staying subscribed. Please like and subscribe if you haven't done that before. For some reason I've got like 60% of my viewers coming from non-subscribers. What the fuck? And subscribe, people. Helps me out. Thank you very much. And yeah, and I'll see you soon, guys. Take it easy. Stay safe.